A source of livelihood on the brink, a brush with the law. Could there be a balance, or is it a matter of shutting out a business that addresses a societal problem? The ban on the highway, the Aboboya conundrum. On the streets, in the community corners, and literally everywhere, motorized tricycles compete with road users. And while their place in our lives has become largely underestimated, they provide a lot more than just a service. From sanitation to distribution of goods and services, even carting produce to and from market centers, these tricycles have become a mainstay. And to those who benefit from them, they are a convenient alternative. One of them is 31-year-old Sargoja Nuhu, who sees his work with a tricycle to collect and catch refuse from homes as a means to an end.
Sargoja Nuhu is ready for work. He cuts refuse from households to the landfill site at a fee. The quest to see greener pastures is what has brought him all the way from Wale to Medina. He wakes up every morning not knowing what is in store for him, but like they say, goes on.
His dream of pursuing further studies has pushed him to resort to this means of earning a living. For the 31-year-old, this dream could suffer a setback if the fresh directive by the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Korte, to ban Aboboya from using the motorway and other highways is implemented.
Effective 1st November 2021, no motorized tricycle, and I repeat, no motorized tricycle, otherwise known as Aboboya, should ply the motorway. In line with the intended exercise, all motorized tricycles, in particular, motorcycle and tricycle riders, should keep away from all major highways and principal streets.
For me, I completed SS since 2014, but because of lack of money to continue education, we came to Accra, and this work is there. So we are also joining to work. After we get our money, we go back to school. And now the regional minister said we should stop it. And they said that they want to make Accra a cleaner city. And we're also a factor of cleaning the town. So if they stop it, I don't think it will be good.
According to the minister and the Metropolitan Assembly, the ban is intended to, among other things, address the city's sanitation nightmare. It would also curb the incident of road crashes involving these tricycles. For households that rely solely on Sargoja and others like him for some of life's basic needs, this directive would clearly bite hard. I've decided to tag along on a typical workday for the Wale-born youngster.
Oh, this is heavy. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Let's get this now. The stench, very unpleasant. And Sargoja has been doing this for the past 5 years. So you can imagine.
He's a phone call away. His regular clients know just when to invite him over. There are those who equally randomly engage in services, albeit not without some haggling.
Okay. Just fix it.
This is definitely physically exhausting. Too much for the fee he takes, and on days of harsh weather, it's even more frustrating.
At this stage, I'll just leave him to do what he does best. But one thing I've picked out from this very experience is the fact that you still need to have some passion in the little things that you do.
Refuse from the morning rounds in Medina, Adenta, and Ashalabotwe neighborhoods have already overwhelmed the tricycle. And perhaps time for heading for the dump site is now. Mind you, Seidu must also compete for space on the road in the communities even before hitting the major routes, which have now become a no-go area for them. The only route to the landfill at Pong is to go through the Tema motorway. On the motorway, which has now become a prohibited area for these tricycles, it's a pace game.
Maybe they want us to stop the work, because if they said we shouldn't pass here, no way for us to dump the bola, and you can carry it at your home. If we carry the bola to pass motorway, we say we scared, but no dumping on our side unless we pass here. Like if dumping or they get big cars, if you go around and you go and pour into the car, they transfer it. For that one, it's okay for us. After you go home, your top man will be 20 cedis, because the owner will take 40. You buy petrol 40. You go there and pay 20. So all the money will finish.
There is no other route apart from the motorway. The directive will only push us out of business. This is what we do for a living.
Because we are ready to buy school fees in Libya. It's almost way mobile. Some say I'm from Motoria. You have a brand new.
A good pass the other. Because if you go there, you know, if you join line, you just go. Government itself, you know, say if that place will be the poor, Accra the poor, the border for them.
But Seidu is the first to admit some tricycles break down on some streets, causing a nuisance to other road users.
They say some of us put the bola on their side, and that one we can't deny it, because for me I can't do that. But my colleagues, the motor may spoil, and he left the motor and go to call the fitter. The time he comes, someone will put the bola down and take the motor go. They take many of them like that. My brother motor, they took it just after the bridge. They took it like that, and they come out the engine and go. So, but to carry bola and pour it on the roadside, we are also reasonable.
For road safety analysts, one of the key reasons why the ban is timely is to deal with the accidents they cause. The accident statistics are grim. In the major cities and regional capitals, they are a cause for concern. Statistics from the Road Safety Authority and the Police MTTD show a total of 411 road accident deaths were recorded between January and February 2019 alone. 108 of those attributed to motorcycles and tricycles. In the Greater Accra region, between January and May, 1,000 motorcycle and tricycle crashes were recorded. In the Ashanti region, out of a total number of 357 persons killed in road accident, motor and tricycle alone killed 104 between January and September 2021. Data from the MTTD show 29% of accidents were attributed to motor and tricycles. In the Western region, for instance, from January to date, 177 accidents were recorded involving Pragya, Aboboya, and motorcycles. Out of the number, 100 were injured. Sadly, 19 of them were killed. Even though Ghana's Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180 restricts the operations in specific ways, Proponents of the new directive say that is simply not enough. Regulation 128 Clause 1 provides the licensing authority shall not register a motorcycle or tricycle to carry a fare-paying passenger. Clause 2. A person shall not use or permit a motorcycle or tricycle over which that person exercises control to be used for commercial purposes except for courier and delivery services. Clause 3. A person shall not ride on a motorcycle or tricycle as a fare-paying passenger. Clause 4. A person who contravenes sub-regulation 1, 2 or 3 commits an offence and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not more than 25 penalty units or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 30 days or to both. Henry Corte believes a more specific and biting bylaw, the Operation Clean Your Frontage bylaw, recently gazetted, which prescribes sanctions of up to 1 year for offenders, is a way to go.
Transport consultant Cecil Garbra believes the ban is best practice. He alludes that the rate at which tricycles have been deployed clearly poses public nuisance to other motorists.
Tricycles are not supposed to be on major roads. They are not supposed to be on highways. The laws are there. And it looks like, we have the best airline in terms of the Road Traffic Act, but we are not using it. You are driving, let's say, on the Maswa Mahama Road, okay, the highway, and then I look at the highway, we don't have any shoulders, right? The tricycle will be in front of you, driving at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. And then that road, honestly, although the traffic law says that you must not drive more than 50 kilometers per hour, everybody drives around 80 kilometers per hour on that road, and you find a tricycle in front of you.
The possibility that these tricycles may pose threat and nuisance to other motorists may be one of the major reasons that went into the ban. For instance, there are tricycles before me, and I'm tempted to move in their pace because it's very slow, and this is a highway. And just imagine what this may lead into, because there are lots of cars behind me.
He wants the directive to be strictly enforced.
The motorway is a big issue. The motorway has been destroyed. No tricycles, no motorcycles less than 125 cc, no bicycles, no human beings must use the motorway. But what do we see? But you have this tricycle leaving, let's say, all the way to a dumping site at Tema or Pong area, which is so bad.
But this has received pushback from some persons, including members of Parliament. Ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee of Parliament, Kwame Gavin Sargoja, is convinced the Greater Accra Regional Minister's move is unconstitutional.
If you see them on the highway going to Tema, it's simply because there's no other way they can dump it. So if the minister says they are going to stop them, let him be aware. He's overstepping the authority under his watch. There's no law in this country that gives power to a regional minister to determine which vehicles drive on which roads. That is within the purview of the National Road Safety Authority and the Ministry of Road and Transport. The only way you should believe what the regional minister is saying is if he can quote a law that backs it. District assemblies and regional coordinating councils can't make a law and say vehicles cannot drive on a particular road.
But just how does the regional minister, alongside the MMDAs, hope to achieve the best of this directive, while ensuring the very sanitation challenge they intend to address does not blow up into a crisis of its own?
There's a directive. The waste management companies will, as a matter of urgency, build 29 transfer stations in all the 29 MMDAs. So an Aboboya will have no reason to say that he or she or the rider is lifting a rubbish, say, from Nima and is riding on the principal streets to go and dump at Amasaman, because there should be a transfer station at Nima. MMDAs will register them and give them business operating permits. Their tricycles will be embossed with the Assembly's logos, just as we see on the taxis.
Unity! Unity! We are 20 branches in Greater Accra. 20 branches means that all of these branches work under a certain municipality. because we have in Greater Accra, we have 24 municipalities in Greater Accra. So those municipalities, if they have a mobile transfer for them, they can work and go there and dump. In the municipalities, some will tell you that they don't have land to create a landfill. It's true. But if it's a mobile transfer, the mobile transfer, they can use the compactor trailer. They can park it at the roadside. When they offload it, then the trailer will move to the landfill. Because as I'm speaking now, the only landfill that we have and exists is in Sawam. We call that place Adepa. Tema landfill is almost full. They are just managing it. So they can close Tema landfill any moment from now.
Yesterday is gone. Another day has come. We have to do something. And by the grace of God, ever since we started, we have always walked our talk. And we have been on time. 1st July to move Aboboya, and 1st July we'll move them. We've come back again, and we are saying by the 1st of February, inshallah, transfer stations will be built, and Aboboyas will not have no cause to ride on highways, principal streets, or major streets.
While we wait for that to happen, people like Sedu, Tetawayo would have a challenge disposing of what they collect from their daily rounds in the communities they work. And the others who use their tricycles for distributing and selling water and foodstuff would wonder how to get around this too.
I'm Lord Goomer. I'm 22 years old boy, but I drive Aboboya for living because I'm a hustler. But your customers need be ebimu away osu, ebimu ashoma, ebimu ahachu, and tibaomi se wefa meru.
Some of our customers live at Usu, Ashoman, Hacho, so we'll surely use the main road to reach them. It will inconvenience customers and ourselves if we don't ply the main road.
This time around, there is no job. The big men brought Aboboya into the system. Now they turn around to come and tell us that we shouldn't pass the highways. So where do we pass? There is no work. This is what we do for a living. If you create another work, or you create roads whereby Aboboya will be passing, then fine. There is no road. There is no work. The millions of people are into this business. Some are into carrying all sorts of goods. You said they shouldn't pass a highway. Where do we pass? That is my question.
But how crucial are the services of these tricycle operators? Patricia Wusu, a resident of Ashalibotwe, has worked with Sedu Nuhu long enough to know.
Enyo wanka yebe break Accra. Ese yeba yetuba and 6 years ni. Omane yombe firebola.
Without them, we will suffer. Ever since we relocated here, they are the ones that collect our refuse. The big waste companies don't live to task.
Akasifono yeba hano. Omo ntama. Nti omo register crime say microphone chrome JJ. Nti when man ya omo be sisa ballers no area.
Rashida Al-Hassan fears a spillover of refuse in people's homes and marketplaces if this ban is enforced to the latter.
Ewa haye ni bebia edi bola tugu nti omo no mba omo be fa bola na yenso e free edu ti say 3 days 4 days no ye hu obi a ochuma oba fa bola na ye hu nchire pa.
We don't have anywhere to dump our refuse, so they come for them. We suffer when refuse is unattended to for days. We feel pity for them. The ban will really affect them.
I feel mom because en no mu su ya omodidi wo. And say omo se omo fa moto we him fa no omo be fa ana adwuma no omo stop ana omo be koso aye adwuma no.
But for Chief of Amra here, Ninai Kwashichu, a ban like this would spare city authorities the drudgery of having to commit resources to clean up roads and areas where refuse from these tricycles spill over.
The way and manner they handled the rubbish wasn't good. They had to get something to cover the whole thing so that when maybe they are going, it won't fly on the road. You have to ask a person to, consider them small and give them regulations that maybe they will follow.
The regional minister may have the right motive, but for private legal practitioner Justice Abdullahi, enforcement of the law is wrong. He further explains that the riders and operators can take on the regional minister.
The minister doesn't have the right to take away their substantive right. Banning all these tricycles or bicycles from plying particular routes or particular roads within our jurisdiction. If that's what the minister intends to do, then he probably would have a nationwide appeal. But I cannot take a license to drive a bicycle, to ride a bicycle or a tricycle within a community. And then the minister says that I cannot ride it. The minister is not an island, or the particular region is not an island within Ghana. The other side is that we are not operating a federal system where a section of the federation, i.e. the state, can pass its own peculiar laws that may somehow be against the federal. Even that would be a challenge.
But while Seidu, Tetewayo, and many others like them contemplate what to do next, there are suggestions for them to take the minister on.
You cannot take away a person's substantive right granted under the law with an LI. You can't do that. If you intend taking away a person's substantive right granted under the law, you would have to amend the substantive law. In this particular case, a person who has obtained a license to drive either a car or a tricycle or a motorbike under the Road Traffic Act, that person's right is granted under that substantive law. You cannot take it away simply by passing an LI within your village or your region or your district.
There's some people, they for the town inside, they don't get money to pay one month, like 30 cedi or 40 cedi for a month. If we people where they take them, if they get 1 cedi 50 pesos, they will take. But if they pack the boiler for the boiler container inside, where they go can't read 1 month. Somebody they house service, the money where you go top service, you know, will get. If they pack boiler where you can't read 1 month, how you go get money then you for pay 40 cedi or 50 cedi for a month. And then there's some place they can't go enter there. Then you see the women's too, if they get boiler for house inside, they know what carry. If we Aboboya people where they go, the corner, so there's some place we corner, this car know if you go there.
As to whether 31-year-old Seidu Nuhu and his colleagues have the capacity to institute any action, it remains to be seen. But in the meantime, they would have to find a less risky alternative. The motorway ban already in place and the highway ban in full force from February 2022 will have repercussions. But perhaps only time will tell if it would make any difference.